Hello, I'm Tony Ko, the host of TalkIT Global. In this seminar, we'll explore why developers love NoSQL databases like MongoDB. We'll discuss this with Gun-Ho Cho, a senior engineer at MongoDB, providing clear and evidence-based reasons. To make it easier to understand, we'll compare MongoDB with the well-known relational databases.
In relational databases, RDB, the data storage determines the structure, which is represented as row-column tables. This means there's essentially only one data model, the normalized model. Applications must adapt to this structure, regardless of their access patterns. On the other hand, NoSQL databases allow the application's data handling to dictate the data modeling and storage structure. MongoDB, for instance, uses the JSON document model, which is nearly a standard for modern applications. This means the application's objects directly correspond to the storage data, creating a one-to-one match.
This is why MongoDB is often referred to as a JSON document database.
Yes, that's correct. MongoDB is more application-friendly compared to other NoSQL databases. Unlike RDBs, which follow strict schemas, requiring consistent data types and predefined columns and rows, MongoDB allows for schema flexibility. In an RDB, changes in the schema necessitate a redefinition of the data model and application updates to maintain compatibility. In contrast, MongoDB stores the schema defined by the application directly in the data storage. This flexibility allows continuous schema upgrades and the coexistence of old and new data versions, thanks to the polymorphism inherent in JSON documents.
This makes MongoDB particularly well suited for agile business environments. In the previous video, it was emphasized that MongoDB offers flexible schema changes, but what advantages does this bring to developers?
Developers often feel a significant burden when it comes to changing schemas. Especially when release schedules are tight, they are not only required to modify the application and the schema, but also have to go through the entire DevOps QA process, which is quite daunting. Moreover, the process of changing schemas can result in data loss. Data cleansing is necessary because the old version may not be compatible with the new one, meaning all data needs to be upgraded to match the new schema. This is essential for the continued use of the database and application. Due to these burdens, developers often resort to workarounds within the application itself, applying hotfixes instead of changing the schema. As a result, the schema remains outdated while the application code accumulates patches, leading to increased technical debt.
It becomes a patchwork over time, right?
Yes, exactly. Over time, this approach leads to a point where the project becomes unsustainable, prompting the need to start a new project. Initially, it feels refreshing to start clean, but the cycle repeats itself. This makes the system highly vulnerable to technical debt, and the inability to change schemas easily hinders innovation significantly.
After listening to Gun-Ho Cho, senior engineer at MongoDB, I understand why my developers often look perplexed when I request the application of new ideas. Developers are also very concerned about the performance of the service, and MongoDB's structure, which doesn't require joins that significantly impact query performance, will be very appealing to them.
The most significant feature of MongoDB compared to SQL is the absence of joins. Instead, data is prioritized to be embedded, adhering to the principle that data that is read together should be stored together. Unlike SQL, where data normalization leads to distributed data, MongoDB models data so that everything needed can be read in a single read operation. This approach aims to minimize disk I/O to enhance performance. This philosophy is central to NoSQL databases, which evolved with the rise of big data, focusing more on application performance.
Because the more joins you have, the greater the overhead, right?
Yes, exactly.
Lastly, your likes and subscriptions greatly empower us to continue creating content. Thank you for your support.